Welcome to the First and Inches podcast, where every play counts and every take hits hard. Right. David is repping the dynasty that is the Kansas City Chiefs. George bleeds black and gold for Steeler Nation, and AP is still waiting on the Vikings to show up in February. We're breaking down the biggest stories in football, baseball, and anything in between. We're calling it like we see it, and no fan base is safe. Touchdown! This is the First and Inches podcast.
Are you ready for some football?
We're ready for some football, baby.
Hello, welcome back to the First and Inches podcast. I'm Jorge.
I am Hooks.
AP, what up, boys? How are you guys?
Good, man. I am living the life back in normal temperatures, no longer freezing like I was in Canada and Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all good in Florida.
Yeah, first
I
week of
haven't been to
baseball
El
down.
Reno and had an onion burger since the last time we talked.
You better shut your mouth. I know you weren't no El Reno.
Mm.
And you know what, though? I know we don't talk about basketball, but I want to get this out of the way. Because they moved the Lakers Thunder game to 8:30 local time in Oklahoma. And that is way too late. It's 9:30 on the East Coast. Luckily, I was in Oklahoma. But still, 8:30, by the time we got out of there, it's midnight. And half of the nation didn't even watch the whole game. Not that it was worth watching, right? Because the Lakers played for, 6 minutes, and then they gave up.
At least you got to go home early.
No. I stayed till the end.
Better end.
The game is over. Unlike you probably fell asleep before halftime. So
Hey, I did stay up and watch the whole NCAA basketball finals on Monday. It was like 10:30, 11 o'clock when it was done.
I don't even know
It was
who
actually-
won.
Oh, Michigan won. It was fantastic. They're really, really good. That was some of the best basketball I've seen. And I don't even like college basketball that much anymore, except for the NCAA March Madness Thursday, Friday games. But those teams are playing old school basketball.
Who won the college championship last year? Football.
It's Indiana won the
Indiana.
football.
Before that, it was Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah. The Big Ten is killing. It's because they got all those big markets with, all the big markets with all the money.
Mhm.
So the NIL is working for them better. They're getting more money than the SEC.
what conference is UConn in?
They're in the Big East Conference or
Is there a Big East still? I don't even know.
something like that. I don't know.
Anyway,
I'm
nobody
not
cares about
100%
basketball or the Lakers.
Go Lakers.
So let's talk about baseball. Hey, I want to talk about the season just started and we're already seeing a bunch of injuries. Like, isn't that what spring training is supposed to be? Get people like up to speed so that when the season starts and you're going 100%, you don't see so many injuries.
Well,
So the catch is they don't do enough in the off season, and then they just ramp them up slowly, and that's why we're seeing the injuries continue to increase because they're not as much off season work going in as it used to be.
I can see that with the two recent ones with Soto and Betts. I think there's also the freak injuries that happened to Lindor and Corbin Carroll, and there was another guy, the hamate bone. That's kind of random, but yeah, I mean, these are significant players that are facing injuries that I think, while they might not keep them on the IL for very long, I think it's going to be a chronic thing that they'll have to manage. Especially when it comes to certain lat strains, hamstring strains, that kind of stuff. And to be fair, that hamate bone has a tendency to zap their power for 3 or 4 months, so the majority of the season. So these are big deals. I mean, these are elite level players. You're talking about top 20 type players that right out of the chute. And I think momentum is everything. So unlike the Dodgers, a lot of these teams don't have the depth that they do to sustain that kind of stuff. This could be, potentially catastrophic in the first month of the season.
Do you think as a league, do you think baseball I guess we can't compare it to football because in football, that's a different beast. People will get hurt just about every game. But in the NBA, we don't see as many injuries, right? As proportion as we do in baseball. Do you think that should affect the ongoing handout of longer term contract that we have going on?
Most definitely. I think that's a great point, Jorge. You get, especially, let's look at Mike Trout. Or, you know what? You can go to somebody like Anthony Rendon. I mean, he's arguably, that is the worst contract of all time. No return. At least the Steven Strasburg deal, he helped win him a World Series, carried him on the back in the entire playoffs, and then he fell apart. Anthony Rendon, I mean, it's just been a catastrophic mess. But the Mike Trout's the most recent one that I think, in my opinion, to your point, you dole out this huge contract, and now, I mean, he's a lot like what Griffey did with the Reds, right? I mean, it could hammer a franchise.
So for me, the Dodgers, I think, may actually be beneficial for Betts to go out because it allowed them to bring up Kim, allows them to keep Freeland up, allows Rojas to get some playing time. You know, his 4 to 6 weeks that he's going to be out is probably beneficial to the Dodgers to get, they would have kept him up in the majors, but they couldn't because they wanted him to play every day. So now he's getting to play almost every day.
It's almost not fair with the Dodgers, though. I mean, they do it even if they didn't get hurt. They're going to make up an injury so that they can get enough guys in the rotation and get enough guys, enough rest throughout the season. So come October, so whatever.
You act like you're not a Mets fan. You guys have money too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a different animal, though. I think that the Mets are maybe just because they don't make as good a decision as the Dodgers do. So I'll concede to that.
Yeah, well, just think of this. The Dodgers starting five, just to make a point. I know we kind of harp on this, but just to show, I'd say, it's respect to the Dodgers for what they've built, because a lot of this stuff has been developed from within. But, they've got guys like on the DL right now, starting pitchers. This kid, Landon Knack, who did really well. Gavin Stone, what seemed to be a stud. And not to mention Blake Snell. Those are just guys on the DL. And then I made notes of this, guys that are actually starting pitchers that are in the minor leagues that probably would be starting for most teams. River Ryan, Kyle Hurt, and then maybe this kid named Jake Eder. So, I mean, crazy.
They've got a guy in Oklahoma City, 10 games in. He played the 11th game today. I don't know how he did, but 10 games in, he's already got 7 home runs. That was Tibbs that was playing for the Giants, got traded in the Dever deal to Boston. And then the Dodgers traded Derek May for this guy Tibbs, and they say he's probably the best player in the minors right now.
Is it a curse to be in the Dodgers farm system right now?
Absolutely.
Yes. Can you imagine? Especially these guys that are in their mid to later 20s that, again, would be starting, that are being held back because of the depth of the Dodgers. It would be a horrible – great for your career because they develop these guys that might be just fringe players on any other team, but they develop them to absolute studs, and maybe they can trade them off. I don't know the right answer, but no, I would not want to be a starting pitcher for the Dodgers.
The average contract in the NFL goes about 3 to 4 years. That doesn't really translate to the 10, 11-year contracts that we're seeing and extensions that we're seeing in Major League Baseball.
Well, there's 2 parts to that, and I'll tell you. So in baseball, for those of you guys who don't know, there's 6 years that a team has control of their players once they make it to the bigs. So you have 3 years of they play them the league minimum, and there's 3 years of arbitration. Arbitration can get ugly. But there's also Super 2 status, but I don't want to get too in the weeds with that. It's kind of boring. But there's 6 years that once they get called up in their 40-man roster and they have limited amount of options. So I've made notes of – actually, I left it downstairs. I have 6 players that haven't made it to the bigs necessarily or have made it to the bigs that I have identified as the top 6 guys that I would sign to long-term contracts. And lo and behold, I was planning on bringing this up. Connor Griffin made this big splash, 9 years, $140 million. So he buys out those 6 years that I was telling you about, right? But he also buys 3 years of free agency. So it's a guaranteed, you're talking 9 years that the Pirates can control this guy. Now, he could fall apart. He could not, but it's $140. Or conversely, maybe he is a stud, but he's a sicko, a sick freak like Wander Franco. And you lose, well, I don't know how the language works on that, but he's somewhere in prison or should be in prison, it sounds like, allegedly. I don't know what the story is. Did he go to prison? I don't know.
No, I don't think he has.
But they're still on.
Extending the
extended.
trial.
So, right. Maybe he's guilty. Maybe he's not. Who knows? But are the Rays, are they on the hook of that for that? I don't know. Right.
Yeah, I don't know either until there's a decision there whether or not he can or can't come back. Whether he can or not, that doesn't mean that they'll have him back. But so if you're saying that, like Griffin signs 9-year extension, if they have control for 6 years, and worst case is they lose an arbitration and have to pay the guy all of a sudden at the back end of that, why would they even throw all this money at him right now? What if he turns out to be not great in 3 years, 4 years, 2 years, right?
Right.
You have no way out.
Well, you're getting 3. They're hedging that they are. Well, there's 2 parts. I'm going to go into it. The one, they're hedging the bets that he is going to be this stud, and they're getting 3 years instead of 6, 3 extra years, right? After
3 years at the tail end.
At the tail
3
end.
extra years. But you know what?
He's 20 years old, though. But I think
He's
the
19.
biggest driving reason is because the looming lockout. So they're wanting to lock in what they know as a guarantee now, because they get this, say this works out and there's not a strike. They're locking in these minimums or known costs, these fixed costs that are associated with this. Because if they don't, and they don't sign them to this, and the league minimum, it goes up even higher, and arbitration levels and all these parameters for these players, these young players, goes up higher, that 9 years, 140 may not look like a deal. It might be 9 years, $210 million, right? Just to keep case with how much they may bring up these dollars in the bigs.
I think it's stupid. I think it's very stupid. Because what are you telling me that you're going to quit? Your scouts are going to quit doing their job. You're not going to find another Conor Griffins in 6 years, 9 years. Like, this is your only chance at a good, player. No, like, you're going to have more players coming through your farm system, through trade deals, through things like that. In the next 6 years, you might find 4 of this guy. Yeah, there's no reason to pay this guy all this money now.
I think if you're the Pirates, there is, because what are the odds that you have your scouting development? Do you think that those guys are like the Dodgers that are going to guarantee that they're going to get a stud like this? I think they're betting that this guy will, and they've got to capitalize. He's supposedly once in a lifetime, a generational type talent. And if I'm the Pirates, knowing I'm not the Dodgers, and I don't have endless amounts of money to go out on the international free agent market.
They have more money than they spend.
Who's that? The Pirates?
The Pirates, yeah.
Right, but they also don't have in the history to say that they're going to be super successful in developing these players, right? I mean, they're saying, I've got something right now. It's a known commodity. It's a known good at a known price. I'm going to lock them down and bet the house, well, not even the house, then I'm going to bet good money that he's going to be this guy. They've missed. They did the same deal with Brian Hayes. The Reds took on
Every team has missed. Every team has shit the bed on stuff like this. So why do the Pirates think, we're going to get it right this time? You have plenty of opportunity to pick another player down the road without putting yourself in this mess.
Not a top 10. Not a top 10.
We can go on all day forever.
Hold on. This is about the players being able to guarantee generational money.
It's great for the player.
$140 million. You can't spend it all. Conor Griffin is actually 19, so he'll be 28 going into his 29 year when he becomes a free agent in 9 years, which is prime time to get signed. So there's players, there's a bunch of players that we thought were generational players. Kerry Woods. Kerry Woods is a player that never got paid the money he was deserved if he'd signed a long-term deal initially. Bo Jackson. Yeah. Bo Jackson made $7 million in his career playing baseball. Like, do you think he would look back and try to sign a 9-year, $140 million deal? Guaranteed.
I wouldn't do it.
Conor Griffin turns 20 in 2 weeks. So this is his age 20 season. But yes, no matter what, he's 19 when this contract's signed. Some other guys I outlined that should do this. And again, for teams that don't have a history of developing great players, it's a shortstop for the Tigers and Kevin McGonigal. Also looked at Carter Jensen. He's a catcher for the Royals. Chase DeLauder, outfielder for the Indians. And Sal Stewart, a roving infielder that could play second, third, or first for the Cincinnati Reds. And right now, he's one of the best hitting players in all of baseball. I know, it's just a weekend. But these are guys that I would lock in for long-term deals. Buy out those free agency years. Look what the Braves did. They half their team. No, I don't even that. I think like 6 of their starting 9 are signed to long-term deals. Right? They've missed on some, but they've got some great guys. Look at Austin Riley, that catcher. Ozzie Albies, and then Ronald Acuna.
So, and Roman Anthony last year was the one with the Red Sox that he's a great arm, by the way. Love that throw.
Which one? He's got like 4 or 5 that are just terrible.
But Roman Anthony, he got a 8-year, $130 million deal, and so they only bought 2 years of control. But he'll be a age 30 free agent, so he's going to get he'll get another massive deal if he turns out. If not, he got generational money.
Yeah, I think the teams are wasting money doing this stuff. Even if they don't end up in prison like Wander Franco, I still think it's a bad deal.
Allegedly.
But you can't, like, if you got a guy like Connor Griffin and you say, okay, we're just going to pay him what we got to pay him over the next 6 years, they have no chance of retaining him the way that they're running their team now.
I agree.
So,
but so what? You find another guy in 6 years.
I don't think it works like that, man.
You have 6 years to go to the Dominican Republic and find your 13-year-old.
No, I'm already going to tell you the Reds are foolish if they don't lock down Sal Stewart and lock down one of those starting pitchers. Well, you're right, though, Jorge. You make a good point. They've missed with Hunter Green. He can't stay healthy. They signed him 6 years, like 53 or 58 million. I forget offhand. I don't know. It's a gamble, but I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I mean, like, would you not feel good if they'd assigned Ellie De La Cruz to a deal 3 years ago?
Why? So you can guarantee yourself 200 more strikeouts per season for the rest of your life?
Well, you guarantee yourself a top 10 player in all of baseball the past 3 years.
He's top 1 in strikeouts. That's for damn sure.
You can't dog Ellie. It's
not 1954. It's 2026, Grandpa.
Come on now, but you get to the play with men on base and you strike out that much. It's just not great baseball.
You're looking at one component. I'll take that strikeouts. And it's below average strikeout rate. Not right now, but last year he improved. It was less than 25%.
And listen, Ellie's not going to come on our show if we dog him a bunch. So we got to be careful.
Well, we're not. Parker's not dogging that.
So let's be nice to Ellie. Maybe he'll see our podcast and say, hey, I'd like to go in there and talk to Adam Parker.
Above average walk rate, but below average strikeout rate. It was the first 2 years that pulled him down. Anyway, proceed.
So what about Juan Soto? Is this a nagging injury that's going to? That's a pretty sensitive area to keep pulling.
He's young. I think he'll be fine. It will probably, like you said, affect his power for the short term.
Mm-hmm.
He'll come around by the end of the season. He'll be able to put up some numbers when they don't count and when they don't matter. He'll produce. He'll be up there in the talks of on-base percentage and blah, blah, blah. But he'll be okay physically.
Man, he was one of my MVP predictions. That sucks.
Yeah, it's not like I don't know with him because he seems like he's a pretty in shape kind of dude, so I don't know necessarily if that will be anything long term with him. I think if it was the oblique area with, the way he swings and just his overall game, but he's not a speeder. You know what I mean? He's not running everything down in the outfield. So I don't know necessarily that calf injury is going to impact.
He never has. Listen, though, you do say, okay, he's in shape. He's in shape compared to us. But if I'm being honest, I don't think a lot of these Dominican players took this offseason seriously. Okay. Caminero, I think he came back to camp 20 pounds overweight, like over last year. He is as lazy and slow as I've ever seen any player be at third base. He's got I don't know how many errors. He hits 2 home runs and, he could barely trot around the bases at 2 miles an hour like he does. But these Dominican players didn't take the offseason seriously. I think Guerrero Jr. was one of the guys that I think, in fact, did some work during the offseason. But times are different. Remember when players used to go play, all of them would go play winter leagues in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. All these superstars don't do that now. It's just a big pony show around, from country to country doing all these events and being seen and being the big hot shot guy in the country. They don't go play baseball during winter anymore. They don't stay in shape. So I'm not surprised.
I bet, I don't know. They seem to be super passionate about ball. So I bet they would play, but I bet their teams are telling them no. I bet their teams are saying, hey, we just dumped, like for Vlad, what was that, 9 years, $400 million he signed or whatever that contract was? 14 years, $500 million. Sorry. Yeah, I bet I wouldn't know. Dude, I wouldn't allow him to go on a bike ride along the beach in California or whatever. I would say, no, dude, that's part of your contract. Wrap you in bubble wrap and get ready for the season.
So you'd rather him be sitting at home doing nothing for 3 months?
No,
and
I'm
show
saying I
up
think
to
that's
camp
what the teams
to
are
try
saying.
and
They
ramp
put in
up.
$500 million. They don't want to stay in shape, work out, train, or whatever it is, but not in anything that's going to put you in a high impact
it's one
situation.
thing to be in shape, and it's another thing to be in baseball shape.
Yeah,
And you can't wait till June to be in baseball shape because you're no good to your team if that's the case.
Right.
Was Javier Baez playing ball this summer?
No.
You didn't
This winter?
this winter? Yeah.
No, he wasn't playing ball this winter.
Did he make an error when you were playing with him?
He made an error when he was practicing with us in Puerto Rico, but trust me, he was not playing ball. Yeah.
What's he doing this year? How's he hitting? Is he doing well?
That's a good question. I don't even know.
He's 261, not walking, of course. He's got a 1 walk this year.
Okay, who's going to strike out more this year, Baez or De La Cruz?
Well, Baez is not going to play the full year. They're going to set him. But if in any given situation, it would be Javi Baez.
Okay, strikeouts per plate appearance. Who will have the highest?
He's got his strikeout right now is 26.9. Ellie's was 20. I got to pull it back up. Keep going while we do this. I'll pull it back up.
So I want to give a shout out to one of our special listeners, Christy. I saw that the Cubs, Cade Horton is out for the year. That's a heartbreak. Definitely feel for her. I know that she's a Cubs fan, so just wanted to give a shout out to her.
Boomer Sooner.
Cade Horton out for the year.
That's tough, man.
Then
I don't think the pitch clock is doing these things to these pitchers either. But
that's not. That is so ridiculous. It's not the pitch clock. It's not. It's not. It's velocity and angles that are causing this.
Yeah. Because they're definitely not pitching enough as starting pitchers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They can't go through I know the narrative is can't go through the lineup more than three times because the statistics point otherwise. But
yeah, okay, Kevin Cash, that's why you don't have a World Series trophy.
Yeah.
Whatever.
How old are you guys? So, all right. Let's go on to talk about what people really want to hear. As I didn't make y'all the chumps of the week, but the real thing we have listeners that listen that like baseball and they love football. And so I've done some research. It shows that 70% of males follow the NFL. And it shows that 36% of males are avid baseball fans. So we have to make sure we talk about football, even if it's like just how crazy the season is, that it pretty much goes year round. You know, starts out in January with playoffs, Super Bowl, March is free agency, April's draft, then July it's training camp, and then August preseason starts, and then it kicks off. So NFL goes year round. The only thing I want to say is the draft is here next week. I actually love that time of the year, but this is the most unsure of a draft that I've seen in years. Usually the guys have the top 10 players, and it's pretty consistent across the board. Like, you can go to 5 different websites and find 5 totally different stories, which is throwing me off. So should be good. I know that the Chiefs, I'd love for them to get Reuben Bain. The Steelers have a bunch of draft picks this year, and the Vikings have a higher draft pick this year. So who would you like to see them get?
Ray, if you want to take the Steelers first.
I don't even know who's available. I'm just like almost giving up on this season. They need to fire McCarthy.
Didn't coach the game.
I need to get me a shirt. Fire McCarthy, and Rodgers needs to just go, man. Like, why? You don't need to do this anymore, man. It's whatever. Yeah. So we might get relegated this year.
I don't know much about the prospects, but I can tell you what I want the Vikings to do, and that's draft a safety. I think that is the premium position that they need to address. Their secondary has always been lacking. Well, they've been very unlucky with their secondary. Unfortunately, people have passed away. People have been arrested. They've had some bad luck with that. But I would like to see them go with a safety or trade You're going to have to forgive me, guys. I don't remember the defensive tackle's name for the Giants. He had a really bad year this year. He's 28 years old. Man, it's at the tip of my tongue. I can't remember his name. But the Giants seem to be fed up with him. I would like to see the Vikings. I don't know what that was. The Vikings trade some of this. They've got a lot of draft picks and get some premium defensive positions at defensive tackle and safety. Hooks.
So what would you say you wanted, Jorge, for the Steelers? Oh, fire McCarthy.
Blow it all up is what he's saying.
So I know that the Chiefs need defensive end. I know that they need some safeties, cornerbacks, because they lost both cornerbacks to the Rams. So I think that we'll see that. And I feel good about Mahomes. They're saying it's going to be back for the season. Everything's progressing well there. So let's go ahead and do our chumps of the week.
All right, go ahead if you want to start it.
I'm going to go first. Okay. Tiger Woods, y'all saw there was the alleged DUI situation pulled over. And I know that people think that what I'm going to say is, why would he do that? But Tiger Woods' consequences are different than most other people's consequences. Like, you don't want to drive drunk and have an accident because, man, I might get sued. He's got so much money, you can't sue him enough that it's going to hurt him. The only thing that could happen is if he killed himself or if he killed someone. But like, we don't get in our cars and drink and drive because we don't want to go to jail or we might lose things. So the people giving Tiger Woods a hard time for driving on drugs, allegedly, I hear the chumps of the week.
No, they need to make an example out of him.
Yeah, mine is Ronaldo Lopez, pitcher for the Braves, throwing at an absolute unit in Jorge Soler, which would be one of the last people I'd ever want to charge the mound. But he didn't own Jorge Soler. He threw at him multiple times, but he backed away, ran, and kept the ball in his hand and threw a punch using the ball as an object, like it's very underrated WWE. A very similar type still. I guess it was survival mode. But if you're going to throw the heat, you definitely don't need to use foreign objects as an aid. You better know what you're getting into. So he's my chump of the week. And it was probably pretty stupid to throw at a guy like Jorge Soler anyway. He's one big muscle.
I got two chumps of the week.
Hold on. I really enjoyed the fact that Soler didn't charge him immediately.
Yeah.
And waited until he tried to get closer to him.
I think he did it, and he was like, "Oh, he's probably not going to charge." And he did. He's like, "Oh shit!"
Chump number one, Mike McCarthy. Chump number two, Jorge Soler. How do you charge them out and not even get one punch in? Yeah. You're just swinging at the air, chasing the guy, falling down, getting tackled, not even getting one hit. How are you going to charge them out and not even hit the guy one time?
And Lopez did get a shot in with the ball.
Chump of the week.
Helmet.
Chump of the week.
All right.
Embarrassing. Reminds me of that Bryce Harper. What was that pitcher's name he got in that fight? Harper charged the mound and went to throw his helmet. And when he threw it, like it was like a first pitch type scenario. It was and he's premium, right? He's a primo athlete. It went like sideways and then behind him. He threw like a reverse curveball with his helmet. And then I think he got a hit in. Yeah, I don't remember. I think he dropped.
They were soft.
That's kind of like the Myles Garrett swing at Mason Rudolph.
Oh my god!
No, that was a real hit. Dude, like, they need to learn from that one because he got his money's worth.
That could have been catastrophic.
All right, chumps.
Hold on, I got one more chump.
Oh,
got one more chump.
Go for it.
NBA rule: if you have to play 65 games to win awards, it's going to cost Luka $210 million because he can't sign the Supermax this year because of, so he's going to have to sign a smaller contract again.
Wait, what? Sorry, I don't want to keep this on.
65 games to be eligible for All NBA, for MVP. And the only way that Luka can sign the Supermax is to be on the All NBA team, which he would have been, but because of the 65 game rule, he can't be on there. Yes.
I mean, I get it if it was like for LeBroning, like because you have control, of how much you're playing, whatever, but not for injury. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot of money.
I had no
NBA
idea.
was fucking
I had no
brutal.
idea that's how it worked.
Yeah, NBA sucks. That's why we don't talk about it. And the Lakers suck. So whatever. You know what? Come to the Knicks. We'll give you max whatever you want. I don't care.
Is
Pay
Reggie
you
Miller
in
still
crypto
playing?
on the side. We'll defer whatever you need. It doesn't matter. Come to the Knicks, Luca.
Man, I loved Reggie Miller.
All right, man. Good show. Until next week. Again, listeners, if you disagree with anything we say, we do care. No, not really. We do care, though. Let us know. Let us know what you're thinking. How are we wrong? How is AP wrong? He's probably the one that's always wrong.
Yeah.
Find us on all our socials, on our website, on your favorite podcast app. Go to YouTube, go to TikTok, whatever it is. Let us know what you're thinking. We look forward to hearing from you, listeners.
All right,
Yes.
go Reds.
Until next week, see you guys.
Go Dodgers.
Peace.